telling y'all the truth. What are Brian Norman Jr.'s flaws? I love it. Thank you for asking that question. Brian Norman Jr.'s flaws, I think, from what I've seen, and I've been watching him a lot. I'm really excited for this fight, and when I get really excited for fights, I really like go crazy. Brian Norman's flaws. I think Brian Norman sometimes he leaps a lot, like when he throws his left hook, he likes to leap with that left hook. So I could see a scenario where if he does leap with the left hook, Devin could counter him with the right hand. One problem Brian Norman had earlier in his career, which I thought was disgusting to watch. He used to smother his punches a lot. He used to look like a Timu bootleg fake ass Sean Porter. That's how he used to fight. Like when he fought like Korea and them early guys. I think the guys Campos, some kind of guys from the early top rank fights. Like I'm talking about even before he fought Randall. Like because he had 2 fights on top rank before he fought Randall. He smothered a lot. So I don't think his weak. Like a lot of people will say, well, his weakness is that he doesn't have feet. No. Brian Norman's very athletic. I think Brian Norman has feet. I don't think feet is gonna be his problem in this fight. I think Brian Norman's where Brian Norman could get into real trouble against Devin Haney, I can see it. Is if I could see Brian Norman actually beating the brakes off Devin Haney, and then he just get too cocky and maybe he leaping with a left hook and then bang, and then Devin Haney just catch him right on the chin, right way one time. And crazier things have happened in boxing. A lot of people didn't think Andre Ward could knock out Kovalev in the rematch, and then boom, we touched him on the chin, and boom, that was it. You understand? So things happen in this sport. So yeah, I would say leaping in with the left hook, and definitely smothering his punches. And he has had this problem over the last 3 fights, but if Devin Haney is able to control the ring with his feet, I could see a scenario where maybe he gets Brian Norman Jr. to reach and overcommit like he did with Janelson Figueroa, Boca Chica, and then maybe Devin Haney will counter off of that. So I would say those are Brian Norman's flaws from what I could see. But from what I've seen, and I went back and I've watched these fights 2, 3, 4 times over again. Listen, guys, this fight is it's a fight that I'm really excited about. Like I've watched Brian Norman's fights from when he was like 5-0, 7-0. I watched training footage of Brian Norman when he was a kid. Like anything. I've watched training footage. Is that Devin Haney when he was a kid? Like amateur fights, everything you could think of. I've been watching it. And that's what I can see from Norman. But Norman and his dad, I feel like they've done a great job correcting a lot of those things he had in his career. Now look, if it really is all just smoke and mirrors and it's only because they have the right guy in front of them, well then guess what? Devin Haney will have the honor of exposing him for us. And maybe, who knows, man, if Devin Haney really do his thing and beat the brakes off Norman, maybe it'll be me coming here on YouTube and saying, you know what? Brian Norman Jr. exposed by Devin Haney. We shall see. Thank you for the super chat. When Norman resets, he does his close speed pendulum step, which gets him out of the stance and position. Yeah, I've seen that at times. So look, there you go. That's one thing Devin could definitely exploit. But one thing that I've seen in Norman's career, which is why I'm so confident he's gonna win, is I've just seen adjustments. Mistakes he makes in one fight, they don't continue. Like if you watch was it Korea or the first fights he had on Top Rank all the way to Sasaki, it's just like dramatic improvement. Not to say that there isn't flaws, but they learn real quick. And part of being great in boxing is making adjustments while you're still winning. A lot of fighters, they gotta get their ass up to finally adjust and see their flaws. The great ones are looking at what they're doing wrong when they're winning and correcting them quickly and swiftly. And that's what I feel. Norman has good lead hand control recently too, top feinting to get your hands out of position. And not just that. One thing Norman really has going in his favor is that he's got very good timing. He's very good if you jab with him, he's very good at countering over your jab. Which I'm very intrigued to see because Devin Haney does have a world-class jab himself. But where I think Norman could have an edge is just it's a matter of hand positioning. Devin, we all know the narrative about the bow and arrow jab and those kind of things. Norman doesn't have that problem. So I think fundamentally speaking, Norman might have an edge there. We're gonna find out. I can't wait. Listen, if Devin wins, full credit. We're gonna find out. Who adjusts more, Devin or Norman? If you say Norman, we gotta watch the fight together. Who adjusts more? Honestly, if we're being objective, I think you could actually, you could definitely say Devin has made, you'll say Devin probably adjusts better because he's had more fights to show that he could adjust better. Like Lomachenko, I thought he had a good adjustment in the middle rounds. He closed the gap a bit more and started focusing more on the body. But really and truthfully, when Devin has fought guys close to his size, I haven't really seen a lot of adjustments, to be honest. And Norman, a lot of times he hits these guys and they just fall. But what I will say is this: when Norman fought Derrieck Cuevas, Cuevas clipped Norman. I think it was in the first or second round, the first or second round with a left hook. And Derrieck Cuevas can punch. I know Derrieck. Derrieck. I listen, guys. See, y'all don't really be knowing who you're talking to when it comes to this boxing. Like, I know about Derrieck Cuevas because Derrieck Cuevas used to train in South Florida. He used to train at the Heavyweight Factory, and he headlined like four shows locally in my area. I saw him fight like 3 or 4 times live. Derrieck can punch. I was excited when Norman and Cuevas got announced. Like I was excited for that fight because I knew Norman could punch and I knew Cuevas could punch. So I knew that someone was going to get punched out, and it happened to be Cuevas. But before it was Cuevas got Norman first. He clipped Norman with the left hook to the head, and he buckled him a bit. And then Norman, he made an adjustment. Norman said, "You know what? I gotta stop reaching. I gotta be a bit more. I can't be sacrificing my distance just to reach, my balance just to reach. Nah, man." And the minute he made that adjustment, the minute he stopped reaching, and the minute he got switched on with his jab and got Derrieck Cuevas' timing down, you saw what happened. So I've seen Norman not on the level of like a Lomachenko fight make an adjustment, but I've seen him make an adjustment in in the Cuevas fight, even though it wasn't a fight that went rounds. I could tell Cuevas could punch, and he didn't have to turn his punches over. It's hard to buzz you. No, I'm telling y'all, Derrieck Cuevas can punch. I've seen it. I've seen Derrieck Cuevas hit the bag, spar, all that stuff. Derrieck can punch. Derrieck was like a Puerto Rican amateur national champion, all that blase. He was, believe it or not, guys, like it sounds crazy because that's why boxing is so crazy, because a lot of these guys that people wind up saying aren't shit were actually supposed to be something. Like Derrieck Cuevas, when he was signed, like there was a good little buzz in the industry about Derrieck, like about what he was supposed to become. Some people thought he had world championship potential, and then he had a fight. Derrieck had a fight in 2020, and I was at this fight. He had a fight in 2020 against Argentinian. It was the only loss of his career before Brian Norman Jr. John David Jackson was his trainer. He didn't get knocked out or anything, but like he just got outworked. And in that fight, what I learned about Derrieck Cuevas is that he's a bit of a front runner, and you can get to him. And they started matching him real carefully after that. But one thing that you ask anybody in boxing, anybody who sparred with him, seen him in the gym, really watched him fight, Derrieck could punch. So to me, Derrieck Cuevas was a good win, the way he beat him. That's what I'm saying. Like, people say, "Oh, well, who are these guys that Norman has fought?" Look, man. Cuevas can, like, Santion was supposed to be the future of the division. Cuevas can punch like an MFer. Like I've seen it in the gym. I've seen it like on the pads, but he can punch. People will say Sasaki is a bum, right? Which is, you can question Sasaki, right? Like he's a Japanese welterweight. They don't really got a lot of heat over there in Japan in the welterweight division. They're more like lighter weight categories. I get it. But one thing we're not gonna do is act like Jin Sasaki can't punch. And if you don't believe me, go look up his knockout compilation. Go look at like the guys he's knocked out. Devin don't knock out guys like that, the way Jin knocked them out. So I'm saying like it's just been punch. It's been punch after punch after punch after puncher. Like, so we shall see. Devin's going to present a different challenge, and that's what I'm excited about. So it's a great fight, man. And I'm probably gonna talk about this fight like 150 more times before it happens, because when you get a fight like this, in boxing, where like there's talking going on, vibrant personalities like Bill Haney and Brian Norman Jr. and Sr., great fan bases. The fan base are passionate about it. You get a lot of fun, man. I have not been this excited for a fight in boxing since Brian Norman fought Jin Sasaki, but that was more like a personal thing. Like I like Brian, I like Jin. I was in Japan. They both can punch. I knew someone was getting knocked the fuck out. So that. But this fight is different. Nah, Sasaki was ranked number 2 in the WBO. That's not correct. You're wrong about that. And one thing about Norman, too, once he found out you were a sucker for a punch, he's going to keep setting you up for it. Once he started landing the uppercut versus, oh my God. Like that 2-1 that he kept landing on Cuevas. And it's crazy because that's such a hard punch for, like, it looks so basic when he does it, but anybody who's done any minimal amount of boxing knows, like, when you go to the boxing gym, most places, the first combination you learn is just throwing a basic 1-2. Or if you're a southpaw, in my case, 1-2. It's very weird for most people, and it's very difficult for most people to throw the inverted 2-1. To lead, you're gonna lead. So if you're an orthodox fighter, you're gonna lead. Boom, and then boom. And then to make the jab a power jab to where it hurts the opponent off that combination, it's next level shit. It's so simple, but it's equally sophisticated. And that's what's so great about boxing. It's like the simplest shit is sophisticated. But yeah, man. Listen, man. I ain't gonna have y'all talk. Listen, that's what I'm saying. Listen. I want Brian Norman to win. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be an easy fight. Devin's a prideful fighter. He's a skillful fighter. But I'm telling y'all right now, y'all better hope. The worst outcome for the YouTube box community and the Haney fans is for Devin Haney to get knocked out before the 5th round. Because if he gets knocked out before the 5th round, that means that he will have gotten knocked out faster than Jin Sasaki. And y'all don't want that, because I'm going to be talking crazy. Y'all think I'm talking crazy now? Don't let him get knocked out before the 5th round. That's what we need.